They told you the Mahabharata was won with arrows and astras. They told you Arjuna's victory came from the Gandiva. They told you the war was decided by strength and strategy. That's not entirely wrong, but it's incomplete. Because the fate of the Pandavas, the survival of Arjuna, did not rest on a weapon. It rested on a promise. A promise made long before the war began. A promise made by a being who never fought a single battle in Kurukshetra, yet decided its outcome. Hanuman, the immortal Chiranjeevi, the devotee whose strength once shook the world in the Ramayana, the same Hanuman whose presence is silently echoed even in the great epic of the Mahabharata. For 18 days, while celestial weapons lit the sky and warriors fell like storms, there was something else on that battlefield, something unseen, something protecting Arjuna, not with weapons, not with arrows, but with presence. And here's the truth most people miss. Arjuna did not survive the war because he was the greatest archer alive. He survived because he was protected. Protected by the one being who had already proven that strength without humility means nothing. But how did Hanuman come to stand on Arjuna's chariot? Why did a hero from the Ramayana enter the Mahabharata? And how did a single moment of arrogance almost cost Arjuna his life? Most importantly, what was the invisible force that held everything together when destruction was already certain? What was silently absorbing the impact of divine weapons meant to destroy him? To understand this, you have to go back, years before the war, to a quiet shore, to a broken bridge, and to a lesson that changed everything forever. A lesson that would decide the fate of an entire war for eternity, and beyond, forever always. The story begins years before the war, far from Kurukshetra, at the sacred shores of Rameshwaram, the very place where Lord Rama built the legendary bridge to Lanka, described in the Valmiki Ramayana. Arjuna stands there, staring at the ocean, at the remains of Rama Setu. And slowly, something dangerous rises within him. Not doubt, not curiosity, pride. Rama was Mahan, no question, he says. But why rely on monkeys to build a bridge of stones? His voice sharpens. If I were there, I would have built a bridge of arrows, stronger, faster, perfect. This wasn't admiration anymore. This was comparison. And comparison had turned into arrogance. He didn't notice the old monkey sitting nearby, silent, watching, listening. Then the monkey speaks. A bridge of arrows, he says calmly. You believe it could hold an army? Arjuna turns, irritated. You doubt me? The monkey doesn't react. It would not even hold my weight. That was it. The line was crossed. Arjuna's pride snaps into fury. I am Arjuna, the wielder of Gandiva. There is nothing my arrows cannot do. He steps forward. Let's make this simple. I will build the bridge. If it holds you, you accept my superiority. His eyes narrow. If it fails, I walk into fire. Silence. Then the monkey nods. Arjuna doesn't hesitate. He draws the Gandiva. And what follows is not skill. It is obsession. Arrows fly like a storm. Precise. Perfect. interlocked with impossible accuracy. Within moments, a bridge stands across the sea, flawless, unbreakable. Or so he thinks. "Go ahead," Arjuna says, cold and confident. He steps forward. 1 foot. That's all it takes. The bridge trembles, cracks, and shatters into the ocean like it never existed. Arjuna freezes. His breath stops. His mind refuses to accept what just happened. No. He tries again. Faster, stronger, desperate now. Another bridge, another step, another collapse. And just like that, everything breaks. Not the bridge, him. The warrior who thought he could rival gods now stands defeated by a monkey. And for the first time, Arjuna has nothing left to say. Just as Arjuna prepares to walk into fire, something shifts. A presence enters, calm, unshaken. The moment pauses. The outcome, suspended. One final attempt is allowed, but this time, everything is different. No pride, no anger, no need to prove anything, only surrender. For the first time, Arjuna lets go of himself. His focus changes. His intent changes. And with it, the result changes. The arrows move differently now. Not forced, not driven by ego. Aligned. A bridge forms again. The same test, the same weight, but a completely different outcome. Because this time, it is not just skill holding it together. Something else is beneath it. Something unseen. And when the truth reveals itself, everything becomes clear. The bridge was never strong because of Arjuna. It stood because it was being held. In that moment, both strength and wisdom bow to something greater. And from that realization, a promise is born. A promise that will not show itself immediately, but will decide everything later. When the war begins, nothing is normal. This is not just a battle. This is destruction at a scale beyond imagination. And right at the center of it stands Arjuna. But now, there is something different. A presence above him, unseen, unacknowledged, but constant. The Kapidwaja is not just a symbol, it is a shield. Because what follows should have ended everything instantly. Weapons capable of destroying entire armies strike again and again. Each impact powerful enough to reduce everything to nothing. And yet, the chariot does not fall. It holds, it absorbs, it survives. Not because it is strong, but because something else is taking the impact. The battlefield begins to feel it. A force, a pressure, a presence. A roar that does not come from any warrior. A sound that breaks confidence before the next attack even begins. While the battle is fought below, something else is fighting above. Not with weapons, but with force, with stability, with protection. Every attack that should have ended the war instantly fails. Not because it missed, but because it was absorbed, day after day. For 18 days, destruction continues, but the outcome does not change. Because what is being protected cannot fall yet. And without that protection, the war would have ended on the very first day. The war ends. Silence returns. Everything slows down. Victory stands. But something feels incomplete, because what was holding everything together is about to leave. One by one, the forces step away, and the moment they do, reality returns instantly. The illusion breaks. The chariot does not weaken. It collapses, explodes, disintegrates, as if it had already been destroyed long ago, because it had. What remained until now was never real strength. It was sustained existence. Every attack had already landed. Every strike had already worked. Nothing was avoided. It was endured. And only because it was being carried, the moment that support disappears, truth reveals itself completely. Nothing was held together by skill alone. Everything was held together by something greater. Now see this clearly. The battle was never removed. It was survived, not by strength alone, but by support you cannot see. And that is the difference. Because in your own battles, you are not as alone as you think. Something is holding you together right now. You just haven't noticed it yet. If this changed how you see strength, share it and follow for more stories like this.